Today we're going to install your new priority rear rack on your Continuum Onyx. Now, before we get started, it's important to know that we always recommend that you either have a professional bicycle mechanic install your accessories, or if you choose home assembly, to make sure and have a professional mechanic review your assembly before riding. Now, to get started today, you're going to need a 4mm wrench and a 5mm wrench. Inside your package with your rack, you're going to have two 6mm bolts. We're going to need those for today's assembly. You'll also have four 5mm bolts that will not be needed for assembly with your Continuum Onyx. Now let's get started. To start, using your M5 wrench, we're going to remove the M6 bolt from the fender strut. Do one at a time here. Now, grabbing your longer M6 bolt and washer that came with your rack, put it through the rack leg, and then bend both rack legs enough to go over the fender struts. Then, with the holes lined up, use your longer M6 bolt and tighten. Do not fully tighten at this point because you still want the rack to have a bit of mobility so we can make sure it's level. Same thing on the other side. Grab the longer M6 bolt and washer, bend the rack leg over the fender strut and tighten. Once both sides are on, you can move on to the fender arms. You can loosen them to point it in the right direction. Then grab your M4 wrench. We're going to remove the bolt. Using your M4 bolt and applying a little bit of pressure, go ahead and tighten. Move on to the other side, repeating the same process. Once your rack arms are tight on the frame, you can loosen up both bolts on the top of the rack to ensure the rack can slide back and forth. Find level, and once level, tighten all of the remaining bolts. With your rack assembly complete, we recommend having a professional bicycle mechanic safety check your assembly and checking to make sure that all the bolts on your bike are tight. If you have any questions, please email us anytime at info@prioritybicycles.com.